Two NRIs in Dubai. Same salary, following the same financial advice from the same YouTube videos. 10 years later, one sitting on 5 crore rupees and the other still living paycheck to paycheck. The difference? That's what we'll discover in this video. Hello fellow Arbab, it's time to boss your money. Look, everyone gives the same advice. Budget, save, invest. Pay off debt, build an emergency fund. But here's what nobody tells you. There are two completely different ways to follow that exact same advice. One of those ways builds wealth and the other just doesn't. So today, let me introduce you to two people, John and Gone. These are the two NRIs I just told you about. Today I'm going to show you 11 pieces of common money advice that you hear about and how John and Gone execute them completely differently. And by the end, you'll know exactly which one you are. Chapter 1, Budgeting. Everyone says make a budget. Both John and Gone do. But here's the difference. John's budget includes all his monthly expenses: rent, groceries, utilities. A buffer for miscellaneous expenses because life happens. Non-monthly expenses broken down monthly. So if his car insurance is 2,400 dirhams once a year, he budgets 200 dirhams a month and then sets that money aside for that renewal date. A line item for next year's rent. He's saving 5,000 dirhams a month, so when rent is due in 11 months, he is not scrambling for the 60,000. And here's the key. John revisits his budget every month to see if he's stuck to it, and he updates it when things change. Gone's budget, on the other hand, includes fuel, utilities, groceries, the obvious stuff. No buffer, no room for surprises. He only budgets for February's annual car insurance in January and July's rent payment in the June budget. And here's the kicker. He creates a monthly budget but never comes back at the end of the month to check if his spending was within that budget. So what happens? John knows exactly where his money is going. When his car registration is due, he's ready. When rent comes up, no stress. It's already saved. Gone? Every few months, there's a surprise expense that throws everything off. Rent time, panic. He's scrambling, dipping into savings, maybe even putting it on a credit card. John has a living budget. Gone has a piece of paper he made once and forgot about. John does not say, can't go out this month, macha. It's rent month. Chapter 2, Savings. Everyone says save money. Both John and Gone save. But watch this. John saves strategically. Emergency fund, 6 months of expenses sitting in a savings account. Liquid, easy access. Everything else invested. S&P 500, diversified funds, long-term accounts. You know the drill. He knows his savings accounts earn him maybe 2 to 3% while inflation is eating 4 to 5%. So savings are for safety. Investments are for growth. Gone saves, and that's it. Everything goes into his savings account. At least it's safe, he tells himself. He's got cash just sitting there earning 2.5% a year. Meanwhile, inflation and opportunity cost are destroying his wealth. 10 years later, John's money has been compounding at 10 to 12% in the market. Gone has to pick up extra shift just to keep up with rising costs. I've told you this story before, but I think it's worth repeating. I wanted to buy a V8 5-liter manual transmission Mustang about 10 years back. I'm me after all. I was 25 at the time, early days in my career. I didn't want to take on such a big loan even back then. The car cost about 130,000. So I started saving a portion of my salary every single month. I finally saved up that 130,000 in my car fund in 2022. Guess what? That car cost 260,000, not 130,000. Okay, I'm done. Bye. Chapter 3. Emergency funds. Both John and Gone have one. Everyone says you need 6 months of expenses set aside. They both do it. But here's where it gets interesting. John's approach is that 6 months expenses in a high yield savings account. Only touches it for real emergencies. Job loss, medical expenses, major unexpected expenses. When he does use it, he has a plan to rebuild it immediately. He reviews it once a year to adjust for lifestyle changes. Here's Gone's approach now. Also has the 6 months saved, but somehow everything becomes an emergency. New iPhone, emergency. Friend's wedding, emergency. Sale at the mall, emergency. He doesn't even bother rebuilding it on time after spending. Here's the thing, and then never actually touches it for actual emergencies and uses his credit card instead. I mean, come on. John's emergency fund does its job. It protects him when life happens, then gets replenished. Gon's emergency fund either doesn't exist anymore because everything was an emergency, or it exists, but he's paying 3% monthly interest on a credit card because he was too scared to touch it. An emergency fund you never use isn't an asset. It's just money you're too scared to deploy correctly. Chapter 4. Salary increments. John and Gon both get promoted. Both go from 20,000 to 28,000 dirhams a month. That's an additional 8,000 dirhams a month. What happens next? John thinks this extra 8,000 isn't my money yet. It's future me's money. Before even his first bigger paycheck hits, he sets up an automatic transfer. 6,000 dirhams off that 8,000 goes straight into his investment account. He then keeps living on his old salary, same apartment, same car, same lifestyle. Doesn't even notice the money is missing because he never let his brain categorize it as spendable. That extra 2,000 on top of the 6,000 he's investing, that money every month goes into something nice for himself, additional investing in speculative things like Bitcoin, but mostly uses it to give to others, be it family, friends, or those in need. Gon thinks, finally, I've been working so hard, I deserve this. Upgrades his apartment from International City to Business Bay. That's an additional 30,000 every year. A newer car, another 2,500 dirhams a month. Before he knew what hit him, his lifestyle has completely absorbed the 8,000 dirham increase. 10 years later, that 6,000 dirhams a month John invested, that's got him about 1.5 million dirhams, or about 3.5 crores additional just from that one salary increase. Gon, he's earning more, living better, but saving the exact same amount he always was. YOLO, Gon might say now. But YOLO, John will be saying at age 65. Same promotion, same raise. One guy upgraded his life now, the other guy upgraded his future. The gap between them, about a cool 3 crores. Chapter 5. Credit cards. Both John and Gon have them. Both have decent limits. Both here, credit cards are dangerous. But watch what they do. Here's John's approach. He uses credit cards for everything. Groceries, petrol, bills, you name it. Why? To take advantage of cashback, rewards, and points. But an auto pay is set up to pay off the full balance every single month. He never pays a single dirham in interest. He treats the credit limit as irrelevant. He only spends on what he would anyway need to buy. The card is a tool, not a loan. Here's Gon's approach. Also uses credit card a lot. Thinks, I have some limit left, I can afford this. He only pays what he has left in the bank every month. I'll pay it off next month, he says. That next month has now been going on for 3 years. He's paying 2.5 to 3% interest per month, not 3% per annum, on a rolling balance. John's credit card makes him money. Cashback, rewards, points for flights. Gon's credit card is a 36% APR loan he keeps refinancing every month. Same tool, one guy's getting paid to use it, the other guy's paying to use it. And by the way, if you're paying 2.99% per month on a rolled balance, you're not managing your debt. You're working your socks off to pay your credit card company free money. Chapter 6. Investments. Both John and Gon invest. Both have accounts with Interactive Brokers and Sarwa. Affiliate links below. Thank you. Both put money into the S&P 500. Both say, I'm in it for the long term. Then 2022 happened. Markets drop 20%. Here's John's reaction. When he sees his portfolio down 50,000 dirhams, guess what? He thinks, oh, everything is on sale. He doesn't change anything. He still contributes the same 2,000 dirhams every month towards his investments. In fact, he used his entire bonus to buy a little extra that year. Doesn't even check his portfolio most months. And why would he? He is not touching his money for 15 years anyway. And this actually benefits him because when the markets are down, that same 2000 dirhams is actually buying him more units of the same funds. Now, Gon's reaction is like this. He sees his portfolio down 20% and panics. Oh my God, am I losing this money? What if it goes to zero? Sells everything after having lost the 20%. Then moves the cash into a savings account earning 2%. You know what he's thinking? I'll get back when things stabilize. He tells himself, I'll wait for the next dip. But when it does come, he's scared again. Markets recovered in 2023. Gon is sitting on the sidelines watching John's portfolio turn green. Over 10 years, John's returns around 10 to 12% annually because he stayed the course. Gon's returns maybe 4 to 5% if he is lucky. After panic selling, buying high, rinsing and repeating. Peter Lynch said, far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections than has been lost in corrections themselves. Translation, more people go broke trying to avoid losses than actually losing money in the market. Short-term volatility is the price you pay for long-term returns. Chapter 7, the daily spending. Everyone says, cut out the small stuff. Skip the Starbucks. Make coffee at home. Both John and Gon hear this. But here's how they react. Here's something I did not tell you about John. He loves his morning coffee from Starbucks. So he budgets for it. 200 dirhams a month for coffee. Gets it 3 times a week. Enjoys it without any guilt. Because it's intentionally planned and fits his financial goals. Everything else that doesn't matter to him, he cuts ruthlessly. Gon's approach, on the other hand, he hears don't waste money on Starbucks. He feels guilty every time he gets a coffee, deprives himself for 2 weeks and then binges. Or some other months, cuts coffee but then spends 500 dirhams on random stuff he doesn't care about and hasn't budgeted for. No intentionality, just guilt, restriction and Newton's third law at work. John spends on what he loves and cuts what he doesn't. Gon either deprives himself into misery or throws money at random shit. You know what's more expensive than a 20 dirham coffee? Spending 500 dirhams on BS. The goal isn't to never spend money. The goal is to spend money with purpose. Chapter 8. Annual vacation. Both John and Gon want to travel. Both want that annual trip back home or to Europe. Both say, I deserve this. But here's the difference. John knows his vacation will cost about 15,000 dirhams. Starting 12 months before the trip, he saves 1,300 dirhams a month. Books flights early, looks for deals, and plans ahead. He also keeps a buffer for unplanned fun activities while there. When vacation time comes, the money is there. No stress, no debt, and no saying no to things you want to experience. Enjoys the trip fully because it's already paid for. Gon doesn't plan for it financially. Vacation time comes, he books last minute. Everything's put on a credit card. Flights, hotel, and other expenses. I'll pay it off when I get back. But here's the thing. He can't go on the roller coaster because his credit cards are maxed out. And guess what? He comes back from the vacation to a 20,000 dirham credit card bill and spends the next 6 months stressed paying it off. John took a vacation. Did Gon really go on vacation? You tell me. Same trip, one guy saved for it, earned a measly 2% in his savings account. Okay. But the other guy is still paying for it 8 months later, plus interest. If you can't afford to save for a vacation for 12 months, you can't afford the vacation. Putting it on a credit card doesn't make it affordable. It makes it more expensive. Chapter 9, buying property. Both John and Gon are thinking about buying a place. Both here, buying is better than renting. Here's how they think about it. John asks himself, can I afford the EMI comfortably? That means if I add the EMI to my budget, am I still able to afford the rest of my lifestyle plus my investing goals? Do I have 6 months of EMI payments saved as a buffer in case something happens? Do I have extra cash for maintenance unexpected repairs, and service charges. Is this a place I live for in 5+ years, or am I buying this for the wrong reasons? If all answers are yes, he buys. If any answer is no, he keeps renting and keeps saving. Gone, on the other hand, hears renting is throwing away money. Sees the property and gets excited. EMI is about 60% of his income. I'll make it work. Uses all his savings for the down payment, emergency fund, investments, everything. Buys the place. 3 months later, the AC breaks. He has no cash. Back to the credit card we go. Feels house rich but cash poor. John owns a house that he can afford. Gone bought a house that owns him. Here's the truth about property. Buying isn't always better than renting. Buying is better than renting when you can afford it with a buffer. If your EMI is stretching you thin, if you have no emergency fund left, if one AC repair will break you, you didn't buy a home. You bought financial stress. Now, I don't agree with everything Robert Kiyosaki says, but a couple of things I do agree with. And here's one. He says, your house is not an asset if it takes money out of your pocket every month. And if your house poor, that's exactly what it is. Even buying a home for the purpose of rental income doesn't make sense if you can't afford it. There are enough of rotten tenants and plenty of vacant periods that can absolutely ruin you. Chapter 10, Debt. This is controversial. Some people say all debt is bad. Avoid it. Others say debt is how you build wealth. Leverage everything. Both John and Gon have heard both sides. Here's how they think about it. John understands debt has a cost and a purpose. Only takes debt for appreciating or income generating assets. A car loan, maybe, but only with a 40% down payment and a maximum 2-year tenure. And only because interest rates are dirt cheap. He has the cash to buy it outright but chooses to invest that money instead. Mortgage? Yes, but with 20% down payment and a maximum of 15-year term. He never uses debt for consumables. No tabby for iPhone, no credit card for vacation, no personal loans for school fees. He asks himself, is this debt making me money or costing me money? For Gon, on the other hand, debt is just a way to afford things now. The iPhone 17, use the tabby installments. It's only 200 dirhams a month. A doctor's visit, here's my credit card. I'll pay it next month. Kids' school fees, I can just apply for a personal loan. 8% interest because education is important. Car, maximum loan, 0 down payment, stretch to 5 years because keep the monthly payment low. Furniture, another loan. Vacation, credit card. Gadgets, more installments. Never thinks about interest rates or opportunity cost. Treats all debt the same, whether it's for an asset or a dinner. 10 years later, John's debt is working for him. His mortgage is building equity. His car is paid off and still running. The money he strategically didn't tie up in down payments has tripled in investments. Gon's debt is working against him. He's paying interest on things that are already consumed, already worthless, or rapidly depreciating. Here's the difference. Good debt puts money in your pocket eventually. Bad debt takes money out every month. Robert Kiyosaki also says the rich use debt to buy assets. The poor use debt to buy liabilities. Translation: if your debt is buying something that makes you money or holds value, you're using leverage. If your debt is buying something that loses value or gets consumed, you're just overspending with extra steps. And here's the UAE specific trap. Debt is so easy to get here. Credit card limits are absurd relative to income. Buy now, pay later is everywhere. Don't even get me started on instant online personal loan approvals. Gon thinks that easy access means he can afford it. John knows it means he needs to be even more careful. Debt isn't good or bad. It's a tool. Knowledge and discipline are key with debt. Chapter 11. Sending money home. Both John and Gon are NRIs. Both have family back home. Both want to support them. Both here take care of your parents. Here's the difference. John sits down with his family and figures out a sustainable amount. He sets up a fixed monthly transfer, maybe 50,000 rupees every month. It's budgeted, planned, and automatic. He doesn't overextend himself and doesn't say yes to every request. If there is an emergency, of course, he considers it. It goes from his emergency fund and then he replenishes it. He knows that financially breaking himself doesn't help anyone long term. He builds his own wealth so he can support them even better in the future. Gon, on the other hand, spends money based on guilt, not planning. Every phone call from home becomes a financial request. Cousin's wedding, sends 20,000 rupees. Dad needs a procedure, sends 80,000 rupees. Sister's kids' school fees, another 40,000. No budget, no limits. His own finances are a mess, but he keeps sending. He can't say no because what will they think? Here's the thing. John supports his family sustainably. Gon supports his family, but he still can't support himself. And here's the hard truth. If you financially destroy yourself to help your family, you're not helping them. You're just creating a future where you're relying on your kids to help you. Generosity is beautiful, but unsustainable generosity just delays the problem. So here's the question. Which one are you? And if you're gone right now, first of all, no judgment. Most people are. The system is designed to turn you into gone. But here's the good news. This isn't personality. This is just mindset. And mindset can change. And stop treating your money like a series of tasks you'll get to eventually. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this smacked you in the face with reality. If you want to see exactly what I'm investing in my actual portfolio, the platforms I use, the mistakes I've made, watch this video next. Yalla Arbab, now be John and go boss your money. And if you want to become John, here's 2 things you can do starting today. Set up automatic transfers to your investment account the day your salary hits. 2, spend 30 minutes at the end of each month looking at what happened and compare it to the budget you prepared at the beginning of the month.